Story time of how my crazy ex-stepmom tried to kidnap me. So my mom and dad are divorced, obviously. Okay, so here's some information that you need to keep in mind. My dad and my so-called stepmom are usually off and on a lot. This is also semi-important. I go to my mom's Mondays through Fridays, and on Fridays, my dad picks me up from school and I go to his house till Sunday. Well, one day on a Friday, my stepmom comes to the school to pick me up. She does every once in a while, so I didn't really question it. On the way home, she was acting really nice to me, but strange at the same time. She said that she was going to take me to some ice cream shop, and she needed my phone for a GPS because apparently hers died. About 40 minutes later, I asked her, I was like, how far is this ice cream shop? And for about 2 hours, she kept saying, we're almost there, we're almost there. We then arrive at some hotel, and then she said my dad was going to meet us there. Everything just started to seem really off to me, so I asked her for my phone back. She then replies with no. Then I ask her why, and get ready for this. She says, because I'm your new mom, so I'm your boss. Part 2 of how I almost got kidnapped by my crazy ex-stepmom. Continuing on with the story, after she told me that she was my new mom, I looked at her and I was like, excuse me? Mind you, this conversation is taking place outside of the hotel. She said, daughter, no more questions. If you cooperate, you'll just make your life so much easier. So we check into a hotel and I'm literally just sitting on the bed staring at the wall. She tells me I have to earn her trust to be able to have my phone back. My mom and dad both have me on Life 360, so I was really just hoping that they'd figure out where we are and come get me. So this crazy lady ends up taking me to McDonald's. I was starving, so I got some chicken nuggets and we went back to the hotel and ate it there. She was trying to act like everything was all cool like she normally does, but I was honestly freaking out. Then she comes to tell me that me and her will be moving to Mississippi by ourselves, and I will become one of her own. Guys, at this point, I'm literally panicking and I have no idea what to do. I was only 12 at the time, so I wasn't really that intelligent. Then we hear like 5 multiple bangs on the hotel door. Part 3 of how I almost got kidnapped by my crazy ex-stepmom. Continue on with the story. After we hear like 5 loud bangs on the door, we open it. Well, she opens it. She made me hide in the bathroom corner. And it was the police. I mean, I knew they would come because my crazy ex-stepmom is honestly really stupid. But just wait till I end up finding out what she was actually gonna do with me. They end up searching the hotel and finding me. So there were 3 policemen in the room. She was handcuffed already and they had her on the bed talking to her, I guess. A couple seconds later, we hear a knock on the door and I was thinking it was my mom or dad. No, it was 2 big men that she was trying to sell me to. Yes, 2 big men that she was going to sell me to. She was legit gonna sell me to sex trafficking. I think that's what it's called, I'm not sure. She's in jail and so are the 2 men. I'm not really sure what went on with them 3. My mom did end up coming to get me and my dad also drove up there just to apologize to me. My mom didn't let me see him for a while. But my mom and me ended up moving far just to be safe.
This is why it's better to have one friend that you hang out with regularly instead of having a big group of friends. And trust me, you're going to want to listen to this story time. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I was kind of going through an identity crisis and low-key still am. I went to a predominantly white school for the majority of my life. So let's just say I was extremely whitewashed. It was one of those times in my life where if a white person said the N-word around me, I would just laugh. Not because I didn't know it was wrong, but because I wanted to be accepted and I wanted to be like everybody else and I seeked validation. Sophomore year was really when I started to become who I am today. I wanted to learn way more about my culture and my background. So I started becoming friends with people from other schools that are more diverse. Eventually, I met this group of girls. And I thought these girls were going to be the sweetest girls I would ever meet. Now, this friend group was serving flavor. I'm talking diverse to the T. One night, we decided that we were going to spend the night at one of the girls' houses. Let's call this girl Sally. I kept getting lost on the way to Sally's house, and I thought it was because I didn't know the area that well. Keep in mind, that's what I thought was the reason. I get there and we watch like 4 or 5 movies before I end up falling asleep. And when I wake up, I was in a room full of grown-ass men staring at me. Storytime part 2 of why it's better to have one loyal friend instead of a big group of friends. I forgot to mention in part 1 that when I arrived, the men were already there. Mind you, we were in sophomore year. These men looked like they were in college. So I was already a little thrown off, but I trusted it because I was with my friend. When I wake up, these men are like staring at me. But they try to look away really fast, but I could tell that they were staring at me. I start thinking the worst of the worst. I try to think of any possible way that I could get out of there, whether it was physically or mentally. So I pretend to fall asleep just to escape the reality of it. But then one of the men at the bottom of the bed starts rubbing my feet. I immediately kick my leg so I can get his hands off. Now I'm thinking he's gonna be mad and I'm gonna get fucking attacked. So I try to make small talk to loosen the tension. So I look at the guys and I'm like, hey, do you know where the girls went? One of them looks at me and says, oh, they went home. So I'm like, I thought this was Sally's house. And they say nothing. So at this point, I think I'm being set up. I try my best to not make it seem like I'm suspicious of them. I casually act like I need to pee. Walk into the bathroom and I see a window. Automatically something clicks in my mind, get out of there. Part 3 of why you should have one loyal friend instead of hanging out with a big group of friends. So I go into the bathroom and there's a window. I'm thinking to myself, I would be so dumb. I would be so extremely incredibly stupid to go back into that room full of grown ass men that I've never met before, instead of making my escape through that window right here, right now. So I trusted my gut and I got the fuck out of there. Mind you, I'm in my PJs right now. No shoes, no socks. I'm making my great escape. Call me Pablo Escobar. While I was doing all of it, I was in disbelief. Like, I cannot believe that I'm escaping, like, right now. Like, this is actually insane. Like, I did what I believed was right at the moment. And honestly, that decision might be the reason why I'm alive right now. So I make a run for it. I immediately run to the front of the neighborhood. I hide behind some trees and then I call my sister. I call my sister instead of my parents because my mom was the one who drove me there. And if she knew that something bad happened, she wouldn't have let me go out again. I'm frantically explaining everything on the phone to my sister. She literally speeds to come get me. When she gets there, I immediately hop in her car and we get the fuck out of there. On our way home, I get a text from Sally. Part 4 of why you should have one loyal friend instead of having a big group of friends. So I'm on my way home and I get a text from Sally. Hey girl, where are you? We went to the gas station to get some milkshakes. You could have came with, but you were already asleep. I didn't even respond. I just blocked all of them because I know damn well that they were not getting milkshakes. Because one, why didn't they wake me up to get milkshakes? Because I wasn't the first person to fall asleep. I'd never fall asleep first at somebody's house with a big group of people. I saw somebody else who looked like they were sleeping, so I thought that I was going to fall asleep too. Two, why were all those grown ass men there? Nobody told me that they were going to be there. Like I said, we were sophomores. These men were in college. Maybe even graduated from college. They were grown. 3, why would she lie about it being her house? 4, why did the boy say she went home? And remember when I said I kept getting lost because I didn't know the area? Once I went back to look through the messages that I had with those girls to see if there was anything fishy going on, I noticed that they were all sending me different addresses. Either one number would be off or a letter would be off. They definitely were planning something because they were trying to get me there late. I haven't seen or talked to those girls since then.